When did you say this was told to you?
Who are you talking to?
Truth.
You're talking to Clue, you said?
No, truth.
Oh, Truth. Okay. I'm sorry. Go
Sorry,
ahead.
what was the question?
When did you say this was told to you?
Maybe so. Well, several months ago. I couldn't tell you an exact date
All of a sudden, did it come out last night?
because it came up as part of the conversation in which we were talking. If you listen
Just
to before Chris came on there, the conversation we were having, that's where it led into it. And what I said is, it's odd to me, and then X, Y, Z, and then I explained it. It was odd to me. That's what I said. It's odd to me.
so you said you went to Ellie with some things that he said, right?
Correct.
Obviously, they were nothing burgers because they're not in jail. So why dangle it
Well,
over his head the way you did?
ma'am, I didn't dangle anything over his head. I was having a conversation with my chat. I did not know Chris was in there. I
No,
didn't
when he
know.
was on panel, I mean.
I didn't dangle it over his head. What he said was, I was not telling the truth. And he said, give me an example or whatever it was. And I said, Chris, you don't want me to do that. He said it again. I said, Chris, please don't put me in this position, because putting me in this position would force me to say shit that doesn't need to be put out here because you're putting me on the spot and calling me a liar.
And he also said, right to your face, you have nothing that can hurt me.
Um, okay, that's fine.
You were threatening him with things you have.
I didn't say anything to him until he called me a liar. Like, what do you mean? If you're going to sit here and tell me I'm lying about something and I'm not, and then you want me to
But you,
prove why I'm not, then you're putting me in a position to put out information that you don't want out there.
That
but
law
you
enforcement
were.
doesn't want out there.
Correct. Thank you.
Law enforcement, not Chris.
Out there. Thank you.
But you were lying because you made it seem like he was telling you you were insinuating that it was the 25th.
No, ma'am.
And
I
that's
literally said the
exactly what you
25th
did.
and the 26th.
At
We just
first, you
listened to it.
didn't.
We just listened to it.
Truth. It wasn't only me, it was 1,500 other people or 2,500 other people
The
that
truth
thought
also,
you were saying the 25th.
the truth also said he didn't know the date until Chris clarified it, because I didn't either.
Jesus.
Yeah, he said that his conversation private, he never clarified the date and the time, and he didn't find out until the live stream. And he was basically, that's what he said.
Listen to it. I literally said, oh, yeah, the 26th, because he got back at 1 o'clock. That makes sense.
Yeah, when Chris clarified, I think.
Yeah. When you clarified it kept back on the one, and I said, oh, well, that makes sense because it was the 25th, 26th. Okay, that could have been. And then I even said it 3 more times to reassert myself.
Yeah.
The
He thinks
internet
we're
already
on the
ran with
phone.
it. It's already over with. It doesn't matter what the fuck you say now at this point. Because you already done said the motherfucking truck was there and he was arrogant about it. That's it. That's all.
That
Well,
night?
they did the search for that night. So,
Why would Chris's truck be there?
I mean,
I didn't. This is the first I'm hearing of this, so that's why I'm like, what?
Me too.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't really comment on it because I don't know anything about it.
well,
Well,
I
it could
can.
have been the 25th through the 26th. I don't know. I mean, you know.
25th through 26th still means that allegedly he wasn't in town.
I mean,
The
26th he would have
26th he would
been.
have been. Right.
Oh, right. The 26th he would have been. But if I'm not mistaken, I think the comment went something like, those dumb assholes didn't even know that it was my truck.
They're not just
Well,
on. You have to turn them on. They're not just on willy-nilly.
I'm just telling you what was said. Right?
Yeah,
Like, I can't stand by it. I just
it's really hard for me. It's really hard for me. I'm in tech. That's my job.
Mhm.
And it's really hard for me to believe that. And not that you're not telling the truth. I just don't know the source of that. It's hard for me to.
Chris.
Okay, so it's hard for me to believe that. Then it's hard for me to believe Chris. Yeah, not you, truth.
Right.
Because it doesn't make any sense.
Well, I don't disagree with you, but it would make you ask the question, why would Chris say that?
Yeah, it would. It absolutely would. Yes, you're right. Absolutely.
It was said privately, y'all. And it was said to more than one person on this panel. So I'll leave it at that.
And yeah, I was there. I just couldn't really add to that. I didn't really have anything to add to the conversation with that. I didn't know nothing about the motherfucking truck being there or whatever the fuck. I had no idea about any of that.
Girl, I'm
Come
telling you,
on.
me and Body and you were lost.
Yeah, I had never heard about nothing about
heard
this
that.
truck being there on this day and with the Wi-Fi and none of this. I had never heard anything about it.
That was my point. But what the answer wasn't that his Wi-Fi was on there. It was the arrogance in which he said, those fucking idiots or those dumb motherfuckers didn't even know it was my truck. While we're supposed to be trying to believe in law enforcement, you have a parent who was laughing at the fact that law enforcement didn't know it was his truck. That was the point behind the whole comment. Said the 24th, and when it was pointed out to me that the 26th could be because he was in town, what did I say? Oh yeah, you're right. It could have been because he was in town.
It sounded more like
you
made it, and that it was like
he was.
25th.
Beats him. He was, bro. He was.
That was not.
That's what got under my skin.
But you stated the 25th, and then later on you said the 26th. I mean, like, I think that the problem.
Because Chris said that they did it for the 25th and the 26th. Those were the 2 days they tested the geofencing, is what he said.
Yeah, and you made it sound like a little, like, you gotta like admit that sounds like he was like the geofencing had it maybe on the 25th, and that he was kind of gloating about it, like these guys, you know, they don't know, they don't got me yet or something like that. They don't even know it's my Wi-Fi,
bro. That's honestly, I have a right to my opinion, right? The way I took that was a gloating, like I know more than law enforcement. That's exactly how I took it, and that rubbed me fucking wrong.
Why'd you not follow up questions to him? Like, hey, was this the 26th?
I have. There was more I could release and chose not to.
But you told me that you had a private conversation and that you never asked him to specify the date in which that occurred with the geofencing. You never followed up.
He said it was the 25th and 26th. Those are the dates.
Mm-hmm. And then
I don't know any other dates but that. Those were what Chris said, 25th and 26th.
And then he said, did he tell you that it was 1 o'clock that they basically found his Wi-Fi access there?
Not until he came on the panel.
Yeah. I
he hasn't been on a panel in months and months and months. I haven't spoken to Chris in maybe a month and a half. How the hell was I supposed to know of all nights he was going to jump up on my panel? And here's a question for you. Why was it that he jumped up there about his truck, but he hadn't jumped up there about anything else that's being said? It's real weird to me.
Because you're insinuating that he might be responsible for Sebastian Rogers' disappearance. If he's there on the 25th and he lied to the cops and he's gloating like how you're stating, that's a pretty big red flag, and that could be something that could spread through the wildfire on the internet. So he wanted to correct that.
I did not.
It already is.
Listen to the clip again. Truth literally says on that night, and then everybody's like, wait, what? I'm confused. So I broke it down in simpler terms. I didn't bring it up first. I didn't bring up anything about the Wi-Fi first.
Yeah, I think it was.
I mean, go listen again. We just listened to it. I don't know why you guys keep saying I said it first. I'm the one who even said it could have been the 26th.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, like, that's why he jumped up, because you didn't follow up a question when you had you had 40 hours plus private conversations, and you never like went through his alibi and said, okay, he told this to the cops and he told me this, and suddenly I'm finding out that geofencing says he could be there 25th and 26th. Why'd you not follow up a question and say, hey, why were they checking the 25th? Did they get a ding on the 25th or the 26th?
The last time he was seen was the 25th, B. Tim. Of course, they're going to look on the 25th.
Yeah, and I'm saying, like, that's the thing that you should have probably followed up on. And then the problem is that when you go forward and say that type of information and that statement, it could be seen as him like kind of gloating and stuff like that. That's the issue.
That's how I'm being honest with you. That's how I took it.
Mm-hmm. Do you still feel he was gloating?
Yes.
I don't agree with you, but I wasn't talking to him.
But I'm answering your question honestly, B. Tim. I mean, I don't have to have the same opinion as everybody else, and I haven't. My opinion has been vastly different than Clue's for some time.
And you're welcome to your opinions on cases. If I can't, it is what it is, man. I'm not dogging you on your opinion. I just think like when you say things like that, it could be taken very, very wrongly without all the facts to it. And that if you're going to go forward with stating that as a fact on a live stream or private conversation, which you had permission to do, which, you know, I can't really hold that against you. You said, yeah, then you should have probably followed up with a private question and say, hey, man, there's one thing that's really egging me on. You said that you know, was it when did they touch your Wi-Fi with your truck? Was it the 25th or the 26th? And if he said the 25th, then I would have probably been like red flag, and probably called up the
response I got was they did the test on the 25th and 26th.
Yeah.
That's the response I got.
Yeah.
So that's the 25th and 26th is when they tested for.
Do you think that you should have followed up with a question on like when they got dinged on it, or was he not going to answer that?
Tim, I'm sure I could have handled things in a better manner. Absolutely. Okay. I'm sure I could have.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like everything that I do is the best way to do it, right? But what I will say is I'm always going to stick to what's true to me, right? I'd go do that. I was just making him aware of how it could be handled if it needed to be.
Did he know fully that you were going to go on your channel and release private conversations that he had?
I haven't released private conversations. I released information about a fucking truck that he was, in my opinion, bragging about.
Y'all are like beating a dead horse at this point, okay? Just stop. At the end of the day.
Yeah, we're not going to come up here and do that. You're not going to disrupt any conversation going on my panel. Sorry, honey. Have a good day.
Have a nice day, ma'am.
Anyways,
back to I like to.
I think what people have to understand is if True feels that they're guilty, he feels that they're guilty. And either at that point, you have to decide, do you support him in his feelings? Are you going to support his content or are you not? But we can't berate him into feeling differently. Like he's straight up telling you, I think they're suspicious.
He's welcome to that. I mean, I'm not judging him by his opinion on the case. I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to shit on Elevated Truth because he thinks Katie's guilty.
Petty AF, you're up here with us.
Sorry, just back again, just quickly. Just is anything that you know personally going to impact Sebastian's case one way or another? And if it is, have you turned it over to the TBI? Don't release it, but
Petty AF, I can tell you that I have been in constant communication with the TBI, the Sumner County Sheriff's Department, and another agency.